I'm Lisa Capalla. Welcome to Where's Wilmington? And I have the pleasure of having my pickleball friends with me here today. We have Peter Sullivan. He calls himself the Pickleball Ambassador, right? And next to him is Marianne Stickney. She is a pickleball enthusiast, and she's also a cancer survivor. Today we're going to talk about an event going to be held in the town to help defeat cancer, which I think is an excellent idea. If we could do that, wouldn't that be lovely?
Thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about this pickleball day that you're going to have. It's going to be on June 20th. Let's tell the folks about that, Peter.
Well, we decided to put it together between Wilmington and Reading pickleball players, and it's going to be a fun day of pickleball. It's going to include just open play where anybody who wants to come and try it out, or anybody who plays already can come, join us, play pickleball against all different players from different towns. Then we're going to have a tourney. And we're going to have a men's tourney and we're going to have a women's tourney.
Excellent.
And we'll have round robin in both of those.
And that means what?
That means that every team plays against every other team one time.
Aha.
So you don't have a winner or losers bracket, you play every team.
Wow. Now, are these North Reading people any good?
Reading players,
sorry, Reading.
yeah. Oh, Reading players are very good.
So you better leave and go practice right now.
They're not as nice as the Wilmington players, though. I must say that.
All right, all right. Now, Marianne, you have been playing pickleball for how long?
I started last summer.
How do you like it?
I love it. It's fun. It's addicting.
Yes, I've heard that.
It's very good.
I've heard that. Anybody watching might want to know what pickleball is. You might be saying, what is this pickleball thing? Would you like to explain to folks what pickleball is and show them what you brought along?
Well, I brought my pickleball paddle.
Yes.
It's on a racket. It's a paddle. This one is graphite. It costs about $65. You can get a wooden one for about $15. And pickleball is a game that's actually originated about 50 years ago. And it is kind of a in-between game between ping pong and tennis.
Oh.
And there's elements of badminton thrown in as well. And it's one of the fastest growing games in America. It's like playing tennis with a wiffle ball. And the ball is circular and it has round holes in it, just like a wiffle ball.
Right.
And so it's tennis with a paddle.
Well, that sounds pretty creative. Is the court set up the same way as a traditional tennis court or badminton court would be set up?
Well, actually, it's very similar in size to a badminton court, which makes it about a third of the size of a tennis court.
Okay.
And so if we use one tennis court, we actually can put 3 or 4 pickleball courts.
Excellent.
So it appeals to a lot of people, especially older people like myself. You know, that may come as a surprise, but I am a little bit older. And
it's the lighting, Peter.
It's the lighting.
He's really 26. It's the lighting.
And it's a much shorter, so it appeals to a lot of older people as well.
So are you doing as much active running around as you would be with tennis or badminton, or is it more stationary?
It's more stationary. There is running around, but not nearly as much running as you would in tennis.
Okay. Now, I've actually had the pleasure of meeting you, Mr. Ambassador, before, and we've talked about pickleball before, and my favorite thing that we talked about was, why is it called pickleball? So can you do the 2 stories about why it's called pickleball? Because there's some controversy about that.
Okay, there is. Most people go with the story about the dog.
Right.
That it was invented out in Washington, state of Washington, on Bainbridge Island, which is right across the bay from Seattle. And it happened that a father had promised his son and his son's friends that he would come back early and they would play. And he came back late and they were upset with him, and he had to come up with some idea of what they could play. So what he did was he came up with the idea that eventually became pickleball. And people will say that it was named after the dog, because when the ball got off the court, the dog Pickles would go get the ball and bring it back.
Aha.
So that's the story that is most prominent.
Right. And that's the one I saw all over the web. But you have a different story.
Yes, that's not actually the true story, because
See that?
Pickles didn't come around till 2 years after pickleball was created. Now, out in the state of Washington, they're big into rowing.
Okay.
And so in rowing, when you don't make one of the good boats, they put you in a boat with all other people who didn't make the first boat.
Okay.
And they call that the pickle boat.
Aha.
So the pickle boat is a combination of people who didn't make it in other boats. So when they built pickleball and created pickleball, they took a lot of different elements. Badminton size, about a ping pong racket, a ball that's usually used to play baseball, a wiffle ball. So they called it pickleball. So if somebody asks you, that's a true story.
I love that. Now, the last time we spoke, you were going, I think, overseas, weren't you, to play? Or you were expanding your playing. You've played a lot of different places, right?
Oh, I have.
Yes.
My last trip was to Costa Rica,
Right.
and they play at the Westin Hotel there. And I didn't know that except the head of the Quincy Recreation Department, who I had told about pickleball and said he wasn't interested at the time, came back from Costa Rica, and he called me up. He said, I want to talk to you about pickleball. He said, I stayed at the Westin in Costa Rica. The tennis courts were abandoned for the 2 weeks I was there, but everyone was on that pickleball court. And I want you to come down and introduce it to Quincy.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
It is.
Now, Marianne, how were you introduced to this fine game of pickleball?
I actually had a friend send me an email, had found it on Reading Recreation. I was playing soccer and decided I had to stop playing soccer because I was concerned about getting hurt. And she said,
Right.
hey, I found this great sport called pickleball. It's a great alternative to soccer, and hopefully you won't get hurt.
Right.
So I went down and after work and saw Peter playing and a group of people, and he's like, come on in, because he's very inviting, and anyone who has any interest, he welcomes them aboard to play. And it's just a great sport, and once you start, you're hooked.
Which is why you're the ambassador, because you're so friendly. You guys play at the Villanova Hall mostly, right?
Well,
had.
there's different places to play in Wilmington now.
Okay.
There's a private group that meets in a warehouse.
Okay.
They play at Villanova Hall. And also, we play outside when it gets warmer, and that's going to be at the Wildwood School.
Okay, excellent. Marianne, I do want to ask you about when you play. Are there women who play this game, or is it mostly male-dominated game?
No, it's a wide mix of folks, and it's not young, or it's mostly older people who play the game. It's very rare that you find a younger person come along, although they are bringing it into a lot of the elementary schools and
Really?
teaching kids how to play now. But most of the folks are older, and male, female, it doesn't matter.
And it must feel, I mean, I'm getting up there in years too. It must feel good to actually be able to compete and to play at the level that, obviously, if you were into sports when you were younger, sometimes as we get older, it's discouraging when you can't hit the ball as hard as you could or run on the soccer field like you could. But it must be encouraging to have something you can
It's
actually
all
feel
ages.
like you can
Really,
do.
it doesn't matter how old you are, and just because someone's older, you don't necessarily beat them.
Interesting.
The older people are really good. I think a lot of people with tennis backgrounds have really found the game and really enjoy it and do very well at it.
Now, when you started out, did you have this nice fancy schmancy paddle? Or?
No, Peter has a variety of different paddles to try, so you can try them out, and then once you get hooked, then you can buy your own. They sell them in a lot of different places. You can go online, Pickleball Central and Amazon.com, or even Sports Authority. So there's a lot of places, and more places are offering them.
Excellent. So now that we've explained a little bit about what the game is, let's talk about this awesome fundraising event you're doing. So we said it's going to be June 20th from 9 to 4, but if it rains, it'll be on the 21st, which is Father's Day, which would be kind of a nice way to celebrate your dad, to get out and do something nice.
That's right. And bring your dad along.
Yes. So tell me about what you're going to have at this event, how it's going to work, and how folks can get involved.
Well, I think what we're going to do is we're going to start at 9 o'clock. We're going to be in that parking lot across from the building on the Common. We will set
So you're
up-
talking about the 4th of July building?
Yes.
Yes.
That parking lot.
Okay. Where
And-
the Swain School used to be.
Yes.
Right.
And we will set up 4 or 5 courts.
Okay.
So people will come, they'll play. Those that want to do competitive play will enter one of the tourneys.
Yep.
We'll have a round robin. We'll have winners. We'll have 3 trophies, 1 gold, silver, and bronze for both men and women.
Nice.
The women can be as adept and as good at this game as men,
Or better.
or better, and often are. And older people compete with younger people, as Marianne was saying,
Right.
equally, because the
Right.
court isn't so big. So what we find is the experience of the older person sometimes can supersede the strength and the power of the younger person. because we're wiser.
That's true. I totally agree
Yes,
with that.
yes.
Now, there's a fee, though. We want to make sure people know about that. There's a fee to play, right? Or it's more like a donation?
It's a donation,
All right.
and it's a $10 donation to play, and it's a $20 donation to play in the tourney.
Okay.
And then all of these funds, all of the funds, go to kidney research, cancer research.
Right. And that's going to be for the Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And interestingly enough, it's about kidney cancer, and that is what you are a survivor of.
Yes.
Marie, right? Marianne, I mean.
Yes.
Wow. So this must be really special for you.
Yeah, it really is.
Really important to you.
The funds are all going to research, and specifically to the doctor that I had that's my oncologist.
How nice.
So it's really,
How
really
nice.
important. You know, the research funds have been getting cut back recently, so any dollar helps to get us
That is
a little
definitely
further
true.
along to get a cure.
Right, and there are so many different types of cancer now. Sometimes I think, you know, breast cancer obviously gets a lot of press, lung cancer too, and I'm not saying this in a difficult way, but kidney cancer is probably one of the smaller types of cancer that we don't talk about, pancreatic, kidney. You know,
Yep.
the bigger numbers get more press, so it's good that something's being done for maybe a little lesser known ailment, if you will. How was your situation with kidney cancer? What did you go through personally?
Well, I was diagnosed in February of 2013. I had a softball-sized tumor on my kidney. I had no symptoms, didn't know it was there even, so it was
Wow.
just found by chance. So
Well,
I was
thank
very
goodness.
lucky. I had the kidney removed. So normally, that's the first course is you have surgery to have the tumor removed.
Right.
And then in most cases, if you find it soon enough, then that's it. You know, you have a successful recovery. In my case, I wasn't quite so lucky. It came back 6 months later and had spread to different organs. So I was underwent some immunotherapy, which is really exciting. Where the new
That's
latest,
cutting edge. That's the
yeah.
newest
So
thing.
although this has been around since 1992. That's where the new funding is going, is to all the new immunotherapies, which are really exciting.
Now, do you happen to know a little bit about immunotherapy? Can you explain how that might be different than what we
It's different than
think of?
chemotherapy. Chemotherapy is traditional for a lot of other cancers.
Right.
Immunotherapy doesn't kill the cells. It boosts your immune system so that your immune system fights the
Aha,
cancer.
so you fight it within
You
yourself.
fight it yourself.
I bet that would be a better route if it can be done that way. Because my
Yes.
mom, as a lot of you know, is a cancer survivor, and you know the damage that the chemo did. It's kind of a rough trade-off.
Yes.
You know, you want to be here, of course, you want to live your life, but the symptoms that she's had afterwards have been quite debilitating. So if the immunotherapy can keep the body more intact, we're all for that.
Yeah,
right?
and it's really exciting, the research that's going on right now. So hopefully we can raise some funds and
Yes,
and
and
help out.
that would be really great for you personally to be able to present your oncologist with that nice
Yes.
big fat check, right? Now, is it just going to be pickleball? Are you going to have food for sale or anything like that so people can be prepared?
There'll be a canteen truck, hopefully.
Okay, so
So-
bring some cash for that,
Yeah.
bring money for the tournament, bring money to donate.
Yeah, anybody just want to come and donate, that's fine too.
Okay,
I think too that it's important to add that, you know, a number of our group, especially in Reading, have been recently impacted by cancer. And we have, my partner is a pickleball player, and she came with melanoma.
wow.
I lost my brother to brain cancer in late October. Marianne has a good friend who lost two sisters
Yes.
to cancer.
It's so hard because I think it touches all of us in different ways. I think, you know, growing up, I felt like the world was bigger and there wasn't as much, but now it's everybody knows someone or everyone's impacted in
They
one
do.
way or another way. So, you know, as long as folks get involved in some aspect, whether it be this charity or another, you know, let's see what we can do to, I like your statement, defeat it. Let's
Yes.
see if we can do that, and I
Yes.
think we can.
Yes.
But we won't be able to do it if we can't get the money for the research that we need, especially for the smaller cancers. Like I said, the money goes to the bigger research sometimes, and, you know, we want to take care of everybody,
Yes.
right? Anything else you would like folks to know about this event, or anything you'd like to say about the event itself before we close today?
Marianne?
Come one, come all. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
And don't forget, if it is raining, we will see you guys the next day on the Sunday. Now, has the town donated the space for you, or how did that work?
Yes, I'd like to give kudos to Tom Pizzera
Okay.
and Bill Kane and Jim Buckley. And Jim Buckley there's a triumvirate in Wilmington. And Jim went down and got the license to operate
Right.
on the space, so we have it.
So thank you for the town doing that, and Mr. Buckley also,
Absolutely.
and Mr. Pizzera, and Mr. Kane as well, right?
Thank you.
Well, it takes a village. Everybody's got to
It
get
does.
involved. Anything, Marianne, else you want to tell folks? Do a shout out to anybody? Say hello to anyone?
Hi to my family.
Excellent. And Peter, is there a website or a way we can get in touch with you if we want more information? And is there an age limit for the tournament also? Will you have
I'd
children
say
playing?
adults.
Okay.
Adults.
So like 18?
18 and up,
over.
yeah.
Okay.
And if they want to get in touch with me, they could email me at
Okay.
bostonpickleball@gmail.com.
And we'll have that on the screen. And also there's a blog site too where
I
you
do
write
have
about
a blog,
pickleball,
yes,
right?
yes.
Okay, and we're going to have that up on the screen as well.
Great.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you
I'm
for
so
having us.
glad you're a survivor and that you're here to tell your tale and that you're willing to help others. That's
Thank
really
you.
a great thing. And Peter, you're the ambassador. What more can we say about that? So pickleball, get involved. You know, if you've got some time that day, come on down to the Commons, say hello, get to meet these fine folks and do some work for a great cause. So I want to thank you for watching Where's Wilmington today. I'm Lisa Capalla, reminding you that the next time somebody asks you where's Wilmington, you tell them right here and right here on WCTV. We'll see you next time.